Hello, welcome back to my studio. This is your instructor Linda, and this video is part 2 of video workshop number 2 on loose coil variations. Now in the first part of this workshop we have covered the tight coil as well as the first 8 different variations in the loose coil. In the second half of this video workshop we're going to be covering now the remaining 9 shapes. So we're going to start with the triangle shape. Now the triangle in this particular picture happens to be an equilateral triangle with all 3 sides being the same length. However, you can also pinch isosceles triangles and scalene triangles. So the triangle can be done using the free pinch or using the controlled pinch. I find that for the equilateral and the isosceles triangle, the easiest type of pinch to do is actually the free pinch. So let's begin. So the triangle starts with a teardrop or a pear-shaped base. I'm going to turn it around so that, again, my connection is where it's going to be hidden, and I'm going to make a teardrop. Here we go. So then to make the equilateral triangle, you simply hold the tip that you've already pinched between your thumb and your forefinger. So again, a free pinch grip. And you want the top of your finger, the contact point to this quilling element, to be approximately more than halfway the total length of this teardrop. So then to make the other 2 corners, you take your finger from the other hand and you lightly push down. And when you're pushing down, all you want to do is you want to push down enough to demark the area on the triangle, because you're going to go back and you're going to pinch in order to get more defined shapes. Now the most difficult thing about the triangle is trying to pinch in your corners without denting the edges. Right, so here we go. Not quite an equilateral triangle, but close enough. Okay, so we're going to use the same free pinch, and we're going to make an isosceles triangle. So in an isosceles triangle, 2 sides of the triangle are the same length, and the third side is a different length, either longer or shorter than the first 2. So, free pinch. Let's start with making the teardrop base. And then this time I'm going to make an isosceles triangle with 2 very long sides and a very short base. So in order to do that, you grip the element so that it is well over the halfway point in the length. The further up you grab the element, the smaller that base edge is going to be. And the further down you grab, the longer the base side will be. So in this particular example, I'm going to hold up very high to get a very small base and then push. And again, when you're pushing down, you only want to push down hard enough so that you can demark where the other 2 corners are. And then you can go back and sharpen the shape by pinching. Again, trying not to dent your edges so that you get a straight triangle rather than a divoted triangle. So here we go, isosceles triangle. Now the scalene triangle, which has 3 different sides, or 3 different lengths on all of its sides, is usually done using a controlled pinch, just because with a free pinch it is actually very hard to achieve what you want. So free pinch, we're going to grip top and bottom. We're going to make our pear-shaped teardrop shape. Okay, so now what you want to do is at this point you can move your coil around in the center to the position that you want. In this case, I'm going to move it to the center just because I want to. And then you're going to choose where you want that second corner to be. So the distance between that first point that you made and where you pinch again will determine the first side length. So I'm going to pinch, let's pinch right here. So when you pinch right there, you end up with kind of a hill-shaped, or it reminds me of an arch-shaped window. And then you want to put in your last corner. Again, decide where you want to hold the coil. Okay, and I'm going to pinch, let's pinch here. Okay, so then we end up with, that looks a little bit more like an isosceles triangle than a scalene. But you get my point. You can choose where to put the corners or the points of your triangle using the free pinch, and you can vary the distances between the edges in order to get different types of triangles. Okay, so now we're going to show you how to do a rectangle. And a rectangle starts off as a marquee. And a marquee, again, can be done using free pinch with two corners pinched at the same time, or it can be used with the control pinch with pinching one corner at a time. So I'm going to do a free pinch with two corners formed at the same time. Okay, so here we have our marquee. And if you remember in the square, we squeezed at the 2 points of the marquee so that we got exactly a half center. So in a triangle, you actually don't want to push straight down. You actually want to create a length that is a little bit shorter, like that, and preferably match the length of this edge to the other edge, unless you're trying to do a some sort of a parallelogram. Okay, so let's go approximately right there. Go, let's sharpen that edge a little bit. There we go. Rectangle shape. Okay, so now we're going to do 3 different shapes that are based off of the same pinching procedures, I guess. So the half circle, the half moon, and the bunny ear. All 3 of these are actually the same shape, with the difference of how much you curve the edge of the quilling element. So in the half circle, your edge is flat. In the half moon, it's got a little bit of a divot. And in the bunny ear or the ghost, it's got a very big divot. Okay, so we'll start with the half circle. So in the half circle, you want to start off with, again, a pair. And I'm going to do it using control pinch. Pinch. There we have our teardrop. Okay. So then in the half moon, you want to eyeball how long you want that flat edge, right? If you want a shorter edge, then you pinch here. If you want a longer edge, then you pinch here. If you're trying to achieve a true half circle, then you want to choose a spot that is about a third of the total circumference of the teardrop. So about there, I would say. So here is your half circle. And I probably didn't quite make that edge long enough for a true half circle, but close enough. Okay, so half circle. So now we're going to go with the half moon. And again, half moon, let's make the teardrop first. Okay, and then we are going to, now this one I didn't quite go far enough up here for the half circle, so I'm going to go a little bit further up into the pear. Right, that kind of looks more like a half circle, I think. Okay, so in the half moon, we want to take the half circle and we want to curve the edges. Now you can either do that using your finger, or you can use a really large diameter object like your glue bottle or your glue stick, for example. Okay, so here we are, crescent moon or bent half circle. So in the bunny ear, we can take this half moon and we can give it more of an extreme curve by, actually let's make another one. Okay, so pinch and pinch. Okay, so here we go. We've got a half circle. We bend it a little bit more to get a crescent moon. And I'm going to use my quilling needle base here. And I'm going to take this and wrap it around my quilling needle, like so. And we get a more extreme curve and the bunny ear shape or the ghost. The other way that you can do this as well, and it is similar to the formation of a Malaysian, is if you go just directly from your tool and use a free pinch. So here we go, we've balanced the quilling element between our thumb and our curling instrument, and grab the two edges and we pull down like that. So that's also the start of a Malaysian. Here we go. Okay, so there we go. We've wrapped it and we've got the crescent moon. Okay, so now we're going to go to the next one. We're going to do the duck foot. Now duck feet are very fun to do. They're also called tulips. And with the duck feet, we actually need the aid of the tweezer. So the duck shape, like many of the other shapes, starts off with a teardrop. And I'm going to do this teardrop as a controlled pinch. Okay, so with the tweezer, what you want to do is you want to grab the tip of your quilling element. Now, if you want this center foot or toe on the duck foot to be long, then you grab further up into the coil there. If you want it to be short and stubby, then you grab it closer to the end of the point. So for this one, I'm going to grab about a third of the way through. Then with your finger, you want to push down so that the element is moving towards the tweezer, and then push the curl around the tweezer. Here we go. We've got a duck foot. So I'm going to do that again. Okay, we're going to, let's do free pinch this time. We're going to make the teardrop. Okay, and this time, rather than grabbing a third of the way, I'm going to grab further in. I'm going to grab 2/3 of the way. So then you push and curl it around your tweezer. There we go. Okay, so here is the duck feet with the very long center toe. There we go. One more. Let's do one with a short toe. Okay, so let's do controlled pinch. Make our teardrop. Okay, this time I'm going to grab just at the very tip. Just a little bit. Okay, you push till it hits your tweezer, and then you wrap it around your tweezer. So here we go. We've got a duck foot with a very small center toe. So you can vary the appearance of the duck foot by where on the tweezer you hold the quilling element. I often use duck feet for animals. I use the duck feet for the limbs of my hedgehog, for example, when I'm doing hedgehog. You can also use these on flowers, you can use them on mushrooms, a host of different things. But duck feet are fun to do. Okay, so now we're going to do the heart. The heart starts also as a pear or a teardrop. So there we go. Okay. So do you remember in the triangle we held the point with our thumb and forefinger and then we pushed in on the other side? The heart is actually done in a very similar way, except you're not going to be pushing with your fingers. Because if you push your fingers are too big, you're going to end up with the triangle again. So we're going to use this stylus. You can also use your quilling needle or your tweezer to do this, right? But you put the stylus at the tip there and you push in. Don't go all the way in unless you want a really exaggerated V in your heart. But there we go. Here's your heart shape. So you can do that free pinch or controlled pinch depending on how you want the heart to appear. So I'm going to do the heart again. There is the teardrop. And in this one, I'm going to do the free pinch. I'm going to hold it along the side and push. There's your heart. I pushed a little bit harder this time, so you can see my heart on this one has bigger, sharper lobes than the previous heart where I pushed a little less far into the center. Right? Now, if your heart has kind of a very sharp edge and you don't like that, you can actually go in with your tweezer and you can round it back out again, right? Okay, so now I'm going to do the heart as well, but I'm going to do it using a controlled pinch this time. And let's see how it turns out. So turn around, up, pinch. There is your pear or teardrop. I'm going to move the coils now all the way down to my grasping area, just because I can, just to see how it looks. Okay, so controlled pinch and push, push. There you go. Oh, well, isn't that an interesting heart? That's kind of cute. Okay, so heart using controlled pinch and free pinch. So now the arrowhead is actually very easy to do. It is a variation of the triangle. So we're going to start with a triangle base. So, okay, so here we go. Let's start the triangle by going into a teardrop. Okay. And then I'm going to make an equilateral triangle. Here we go. Let's pinch, pinch, pinch. So here we have our triangle. Okay. And then to get the arrowhead, you want to go with your thumb and your forefinger again on the edge of the point. And you want to take a wider diameter forming element like this here, or you can use the base of your quilling tool and then wrap. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to get a curvature here. Kind of looks like a water chestnut, I guess, right? Once you've got that curve, then you push with your thumb and forefinger to get the sharp edge. And here we have a rather exaggerated arrowhead. That's because I used an equilateral triangle as its base. Now if you want an arrowhead that's more like this one, which has a longer body and kind of a shorter divot there, then what you want to do is you want to form it from an isosceles triangle with the long ends. So let's see if we can do one of that to show you. Okay, so now where's the edge? Here we go. Okay, I'm going to do controlled pinch, pinch, There we go. There's our pear. I'm going to hold it very far up on the belly so there's only a little bit of the circle left over to get an isosceles triangle. Push. Right. Let's get some nice sharp corners in there. Okay, so here we go. Isosceles triangle. Use your tool. Get that first bend in there. What does that look like? That looks kind of cool. You probably could use that for something. Okay, so then we pinch the top together. And again, whether you pinch hard or whether you pinch light will determine how sharp that edge is. On this particular picture, they pinched very softly, so you still have a little bit of curve in the arrowhead. This one I pinched quite hard, so the V is quite sharp. So here we go. This is the one that I pinched using an isosceles triangle, and I pinched lighter than in this one, so you can see it's a little bit rounder there as opposed to sharper there. Okay, so arrowhead, same as the others, you can have lots of different variations. Okay, so now the trumpet is actually very similar to the tulip. The difference is in the tulip, when we grasp the toe, the center toe, we wrapped the element around the tweezer in order to get that kind of curvature on the two remaining toes. Now in the trumpet, you're doing the same thing, except you stop at the base of the needle, at the base of your tweezer, and you don't wrap it around the tweezer. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, so should we do free pinch or controlled pinch for this one? Let's do controlled pinch. Okay, so here we go. Trumpets also starts as the pear. Okay, so on this one, let's do about a halfway point, shall we? And again, you can choose the length of this little tail piece on the trumpet. I'm going to go about halfway. So on this one here, you push down on the needle. And in the duck feet at this point, you would have wrapped the edges around the needle to get that curve. In the trumpet, you actually don't. You stop there and you pinch in the perpendicular position to the center toe there. Okay, so here we have the trumpet. Kind of reminds me a little bit of a hammer, actually, right? Okay, one more trumpet. So here we go. Trumpet starts off as a pear. I'm going to do a free pinch. Hello, Leanna. That's my daughter. She's home. Okay, so let's do a trumpet with a small stem. So we're going to go about maybe a third of the way through the element there. We're going to push. Okay, and let's make the two edges of the trumpet. There we go. So we have a trumpet with a very short stem and a bigger head. Okay, so we have now officially finished all 17 types of loose coil variations. Certainly you can make other shapes other than what I covered in the workshop today, but these should cover pretty much 90-95% of the projects that you'll be tackling. So thank you for watching to the end of my workshop. I hope you have learned a lot, and I'll see you in my next workshop.